Salema family, it's Amachihu here one more time. This is a follow-up to the previous teaching about the basics of our walk. This one will have to do with the Levitical laws for women. However, I'm just doing an introduction. I thank Sister Susanna for a job well done. You will see her next, which will walk you through this. I'm encouraging all of you to please humble yourself and pay attention, because Yah requires that we keep His statutes and commandments and to be set apart as He is set apart. So we do not walk in, our men or women do not walk in offense to Him. Okay, so I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one. Salema.
Shabbat Shalom, ladies, and happy Feast of Unleavened Bread. I am so thankful that we are here to see another Shabbat. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh, B'Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, for His glory, for His word, for allowing us to see another Sabbath. We are so thankful each and every time that we can sit and, commune with each other, have this time to bring out scriptures and give praises to the Most High, because He is deserving. So in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct that path. And I always want to say that this is the day that Yah has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. So we are so thankful to be in the midst of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. I hope all of you guys had a beautiful Passover. I said this online, but I'm going to say it again. You guys look gorgeous. There's so many pictures that I saw of the different congregations and the dresses and the outfits of the kids, and everything just looked so royal, so spectacular. So I'm so thankful to be a part of this movement for the Most High, and, just to be in the truth. I'm just so incredibly thankful. So I hope that everybody that is observing this week is having a good Feast of Unleavened Bread. You guys are using the recipes that I, put out there, or the recipes that other ladies have put out there, because I've even looked up some other recipes, which, gave me new ideas to kind of improvise on what I even said. So we're just so thankful to be able to, observe again this high holy day that is one of the highest high holy days. We are going into a Sabbath, which is going to intertwine with this feast week. So I'm excited. Tomorrow we get to wake up. Tonight you can cook all through the evening to continue to feast. Tomorrow during Shabbat, go ahead and wake up and you can have your hot coffee, your hot food, to continue to feast for the Most High. Eat your unleavened bread. He wants you to make it, even though it's Sabbath. It's a Sabbath during his feast week. So please go ahead and cook some hot unleavened bread for him. All praise to the Most High. You got to do it every single day. And we're going to get right into this video. So again, all praise be to the Most High, Yahweh, B'Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, for his high holy days. So ladies, this is going to be a good one. I'm going to be going over some laws because, I'd already kind of had this on my mind, and another sister had actually said it. I had it on my mind, and two other people have actually talked about this as well, and about the Levitical laws for women. So as we know, all of the law, statutes, and commandments are for men and women, the whole entire nation. But there are laws that are right, specifically talking to us, that we need to make sure that we follow as strictly as he says, that they are. So this video is going to be Levitical laws for women. But before we do that, go ahead and pull out your King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha, and we're going to bring out our foundational scriptures, which is Titus 2:3-5. So go ahead and pull that out in a pen and a pad, ladies, because this might be some new information for some of you. We are told to meditate on the laws, but, a lot of times we might read it, then we get into the rest of the Bible, and certain things you might not remember, or might not know they're as serious as they are. And we have to really follow these things. So we're going to go over it today, do some reading today. Before we do that, again, let's go to Titus 2:3-5, and it reads as follows. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. So again, the title of this video is Levitical laws for women. So I want us to think for a second. When the Most High gives us laws, he did not make any of these laws with the thought of how would we feel about them. So let's be very clear about that. If it was up to us, we probably wouldn't even have all these laws. That's why we have the issue that we have now and why we're in captivity, because we couldn't even keep the laws, that were, that are here, that are in the scripture. We've had a hard time, broken a lot of those laws, which is why we're in our captivity, so many times, and even the one that we're in now. So it's not our job to try to shift and change these different laws. That's the kind of how we got caught up in the Christian church. And I'm gonna do this one, but I'm not gonna kill. He said, don't kill, don't steal, but I'm gonna eat the abominations that I want. He said, I can't be, having profane lust, but I might cheat on my spouse. Maybe that's not that I can get forgiven. No, we have to follow all of them. Our job is to change how we feel to match how the Most High's laws are. So we have to be obedient. Underscore that. We have to be obedient. That was the problem. That's why we're in the issues, or we are having the issues and in the situation that we're in now because of disobedience. So when you're coming into this truth, that is the main thing. We have to go back to being obedient to the Most High. So it's just like any parent. All you parents out there, you get it. If you tell your child to do something, you don't always feel like at that moment when you tell them, you have to explain to them why. Sometimes you're just like, because I said so. Okay, that's why. So we don't need a reason on why we have to do these certain laws. All the laws are 613. There's no, reason why we have to do them. He doesn't have to do that. He set them up. He said, this is what they are. This is what I want you to do. And you have to do it. Plain and simple. So we're going to go into scripture really quick before I go into these laws. Flip to the book of Isaiah, because we're going to really kind of underscore everything that I just said about, him being the Most High. He doesn't have to answer to us. We answer to him. So go to Isaiah 40 and 12. So go to the book of Isaiah, and we're going to go to chapter 40 and verse 12. And we're going to read 12 and all the way to 14. All right, so it reads as follows. Who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand? So let's stop right there. Let's just stop right there. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand? That's impossible. We know we can't do that. So we have no reason to question him. We're going to keep this going. So who have measured the waters in the hollow of his hand and meted out heaven with the span? Come on. We don't know the size of heaven. You don't even know where the third heaven is. People can try to get, their spaceships and go up as far as they can, and they still not going to be able to find it. So we definitely can't, we don't know the length of it. So it says, and meted out heaven with the span and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure. So that's like saying we know how much dust is on this earth, how much, we know the exact percentage. We know exactly how much it weighs. No, that's impossible as well. So these things are truly impossible. So let's keep going. He's not even done. And weighted the mountains in scales. That's impossible as well. And the hills in a balance. So we're going to go to 13. Who hath directed the Spirit of the Most High, or being his counselor, have taught him? With whom took he counsel? And who instructed him? And taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. So I wanted to bring that out because we have to remember that we are the pot, we are the clay. He's the potter. So and that's scripture as well, if I'm not mistaken, that's in 1st or 2nd Esdras. We are, the clay. We cannot ask him, why am I being formed? We can't question him. Just like your children can't question you. Sometimes they will, as they get older, and they'll start questioning. But as we know more than them. You're my child. I don't have to explain every single thing to you. You have to be obedient. So we have to look at all these things, because this is done multiple times in scripture when the Most High will say these things. It's done in Job, and it's done somewhere else. I can't remember off the top of my head where it's done, where the Most High is like, I think it's in, that's right. It's in Isaiah, it's in Job, and it's in 1st or 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. And he's like, who are you to even ask me questions? You are nobody. You can't act. Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do that? All the stuff that he just named. Can you weigh out, the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? No, you can't. So I wanted to bring all that out for us to understand about these laws that I'm going to talk about, the Levitical laws for women. You have to just do them regardless. This is just what it is. He says it, so we have to be obedient. We are not the creator. all the law, statutes, and commandments are given to all of Israel. So let's go over a few that are directed straight to us. Let's go to Leviticus, and I'm going to go over a couple. We're going to be talking about birthing and the law that's brought out about that, menstruation, the law that's brought out about that, feast days, and how that pertains to when you're menstruating, and also intimacy. So we're going to go over these couple of topics and what the law is pertaining to all of them. So let's go to Leviticus 12, and let's start out in verse 1. Alrighty, so we're going to go over birthing first. Number 1, when you have a child, what is the laws that are pertaining to being clean? Because even when you have a child and it's a beautiful process, and the Most High loves it, obviously. He blessed you with being, pregnant and even having your baby to full term. All of that truly is a blessing. But to him, you're still unclean during those times after you actually birth your child. So I want to go over exactly what that is, because I know a lot of us women are having, babies right now and the truth. And I see a lot of babies that have come into the truth and a lot of people that are pregnant. So let's go over these foundational laws so we can understand that we're not going off in any kind of way just because of ignorance, just because we didn't know. So let's start with 12 and 1, Leviticus 12 and 1. And again, we're going to go to 5. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days, and she shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary, until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. But if she bear a maid child, which is a daughter, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. So 1 score is 20. So if he's saying 3 score, then that's 60, and he has in 6 days, so 66 days if you have a daughter. And so I wanted to bring that out. I'm not going to be going into too much of, kind of breaking down outside of these scriptures, because these scriptures say what they say. So the whole point of this video is not even going to be long. It's going to be reading them so and for you to read it on your own time as well, because we are told to meditate in the laws. So these first 5 books, the Torah, all the way from, Genesis to Exodus to Leviticus to Deuteronomy, Numbers, and then Deuteronomy, we want to make sure that we stay in these laws. You can read all over the Bible, but know that you always got to come back to reading these laws again and again and again, so you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. All right, so the next topic we're going to go to, number 2, is menstruating, when a woman is menstruating. And all of you know exactly what that means. So we're going to go to Leviticus 15 and 19 through 28. I was on the right page. All right. So Leviticus 15, 19 through 28 reads as follows. If a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever Salakia toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And even, you want to say evening because that's how we say it all the time, but it's until the evening, which is the same thing, but we can't add. So until the even. And if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the even. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean. So you see that right there? See? We're not supposed to be doing that. And if that does happen, and it just pops up, and neither one of you were aware, he has to be put apart 7 days, right? So we want to make sure we understand these things. 25. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, out of those 7 days, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, and the uncleanness of her separation, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. So again, this means that you have to be put away for 7 days. So you can't sleep in your same bed when you're menstruating, right? So if you have an apartment and all you have is a couch, then you have to go sleep on the couch. If you're blessed with a bigger, house, and you have like maybe a townhouse, or you have a single family home and you have multiple bedrooms and you have a guest bedroom, then I suggest that you go sleep in that guest bedroom. This is what he means. You have to be put away for 7 days. So either you need to be in a guest bedroom, and hopefully your guest bedroom is set up. I did that. I mean, they got a TV in there. It's got a bed in there, obviously. And I'm chilling. I'm in there for 7 days. And we've been doing this for a long time. And I have to be, put apart, set apart. Or put away, during that time. So, and plus the Most High, I was just talking to my king about this before I started, he also had to bring up that we can't forget. And we have to remember that, when women are menstruating, we have mood swings that go up and down. So the Most High is also protecting your relationship too, where he doesn't want you guys arguing and fighting over silly stuff because of your natural mood swings that may come up. So it's best for him not to deal with you as much as he normally does. That's the point. You're being put away. You guys obviously can hang out, you can talk, you can go to storage, you can do all of that stuff, but make sure that he's not, coming behind you and, sitting in the same seat that next day if you guys go out multiple times in the day, and if somebody's driving, to let you sit in that, because that's what he's saying. Whatever you sit upon is unclean, and that person is unclean until the evening. So even on your couch, let's say you are in the guest bedroom, but then you guys go to the couch and you're chilling, and you may have a certain side of the couch that you might sit on. Make sure that you stick to that if you're going to be doing that during the time that you're menstruating. So don't be bouncing all around the couch, because you have to make sure that you're protecting him as well, because whatever you sit upon is somebody comes sit behind you, then they're unclean until the evening. So if you guys are in congregations and you have a husband that's a part of these camps, you're making him unclean when he's going to camp until that evening. So if it comes around the time of Sabbath, then he can't go to camp. So we got to read all these things and understand how just because we're sitting upon something, it's making that other person be unclean too. So make sure that you're reading over this particular passage. Again, it's Leviticus 15:19 through 28, and you ask the Most High to reveal what he's saying to you so you understand it, so you can meditate on these things so you're not breaking the law. So we have to remember we're unclean, pretty much. And I want to piggyback off of that and talk about feast days, because it made me think about it as we're dealing with the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I was, looking at all the beautiful women in the congregations, and made me kind of think about this video and looking at the video and looking at pictures and stuff like that. So I'll say this: if you're in a congregation and you are menstruating during your days and you're put away for 7 days, then if Passover happens during that time, you can't go to Passover. You can't join a feast day and attend a feast day during the times that you are put away and you are unclean. And we're going to bring that out. So let's drop down to 31. He says it specifically. So Leviticus 15:31 says, "Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them." So we have to remember how he uses the word tabernacle, as in the congregation, when it was then, and it might have been a specific building at that time, but now we are seen as the tabernacle spiritually. So we have to remember that if you have a gathering because of a feast day, whether it be the Feast of Tabernacles, whether it be the Feast of Dedication, whether it be, as we're dealing with now, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, if you're going to be put away during those 7 days, and you cannot attend those feast days because you are unclean until your time has passed of your 7 days. So we always want to make sure we are following the laws. All right, so the last one I wanted to go over is intimacy. So we are staying in chapter 15, and we're going to look at 16 through 18, right before we got into the menstruating portion of it. So the first few verses prior to. So we're going to go to Leviticus 15, 16 through 18, and it reads as follows. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. And the woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall bathe both themselves in water and be unclean until the even. So what that's saying is that you have to take a shower after you are intimate, both of you. And you're both unclean until the even though you are taking a shower. So this also includes your sheets as well. Same thing. So if you're being intimate in your bed, then you have to make sure that you're washing your sheets after. That's why it's saying, and every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. So he is very specific about all of these things. So you have to make sure that you understand that out of everything he's saying, whether it's birthing, whether it's menstruating, whether it's, being in his temple, or joining in the congregation, or if it's being intimate, that he wants us to be clean all the time. If you look at Leviticus, specifically this whole book of Leviticus, that's when he breaks down dietary laws. That's when he breaks down, things that he just breaks it down. I mean, it's just so many things there that is packed into this one book that it's so very important for us to go over these things for you to understand exactly what you can and cannot do. He wants you to be clean. He is holy, clean, and set apart. He does not want his people to be acting like any of these other heathens. That's why he gave these laws to us. And he said, when you're going into these other lands, don't follow them. Make sure that you're following my law, statutes, and commandments. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not about the Most High saying, what do you want to do? How do you think about this? No, this is exactly how I need you to be, because this is, you're representing me. You are me. You are my children. And these are the things that you are required to do and commanded to do, to follow all these things and to be obedient, because I said so and because I know what's best. And being clean is a fantastic thing, obviously. So when it feels like you're unclean, then make sure that you're setting yourself apart and you're purifying yourself during that time. Now, I'll also say this before I close out the video. Again, make sure that you're meditating on these laws. But with purifying yourself, there has been a lot of women in Israel that have begun to kind of dibble and dabble in these African rituals and all the, hopefully none of you guys are, I'm not saying that, but there's certain things even we still might mess with, even though we don't know how wicked it just might be. And there's things that women are doing that I've even seen on reality TV shows about purifying, and they'll take like these cauldrons and do like whatever that makes it, I don't even know what they're burning, but whatever it burns, it's like creating some steam, and women sit on top of it and it's supposed to be purifying them. Don't do any of that. None of that is of the laws. He doesn't mean that when he's saying he wants you to purify himself. If he wanted you to do that, he would say that specifically. So read all of this. Even though I broke down these few verses in here, make sure that you're reading all of these books. Again, the first 5 books go over it. We have 613, which means that there are more law, statutes, and commandments all throughout the Bible and the New Testament, and you'll know them as you continue to read. And I've already encouraged you guys to read every single day, so you'll learn these things on your own. And to stand out when he says you can't do this, it stands out, But I want us to remember that we can't do anything that the heathen does. So even if it's something that you might have learned from somebody else, you can't do it. You are from the nation of Israel, and you have to do what the Most High says, period, in the story. So I want to finish out by going to the Apocrypha to not be ignorant of anything. So let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus and go to 5 and 15. And it's just a quick little verse, but it says exactly what I just said, but paraphrase. But this is exactly what it is. All right, so Ecclesiasticus, which is the book of Sirach, 5 and 15 reads as follows. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So we can't just bypass things and be like, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, nobody told me. Oh, this is why he's giving us this grace period. This is what we're supposed to be doing with this time, getting better at getting rid of the old woman, getting better at understanding his law, statutes, and commandments, taking the time to seek him at when he can be found, and making sure that we are shedding all of our worldly ways so we can be obedient to him as we possibly can. Clean up your garment, ladies. Make sure that you're praying for these things. Make sure you're asking him to help you clean up your garment, help you get rid of the old woman, help you clean up your heart all the time. All right. So with that, I'm going to end this video. If you guys have any additional questions and I can pull the scriptures, ask me in the comment section. I'll lead you to another scripture. Let the Most High answer all things through these scriptures. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. If you've already had your Passover, then all praises. If you're still in the midst of it, then happy Feast of Unleavened Bread to all of you that are out there. Please look up these different recipes about all the different ways that you can make unleavened bread from, I've seen now from waffles to, you know, empanadas to the tacos that I even made. You can do, you know, tops and bottoms and do breakfast sandwiches. There's just so many to get creative. You guys make pizzas. There's so many different things that you can do just to make sure that you're eating unleavened bread each and every day. All right. So I love you guys. Thank you again for watching. And Yah willing, I will be back next week to upload another video. All right.